Upon researching the data books, it's pretty apparent that Kishimoto wasn't looking too deeply into expanding this concept. For the data books, the most notable fire Kekkei Genkai are, as stated, blaze, lava, boil, and scorch release. From the research I found before Naruto Shippuden was even midway done, I found a different list of fire Kekkei Genkai that went as follows: blaze, boil, magma, plasma, and poison release. I'll go over both lists and let you decide which one you like more, which ones you think are more accurate, and any other concerns you may have. I will be combining overlapping releases and even explain where the second is coming from to give you a much better perspective on it. So, let's dive in. The first list has Fire Kekkei Genkai mentioned in the series. The first release was Blaze, and since it's on both lists, I'll explain both the reasonings for it to be on both lists. Blaze release in the databooks is just stated to be high level fire style. That's really it. Everything else said about it is that Amaterasu and Flame Control are the only jutsu shown in this fire release. It's not even considered a Kekkei Genkai, even though it technically should be, considering not everyone can learn this jutsu style. Its reasoning for it being on the second list is that it's the advanced form of fire style, created by combining two basic fire affinities like you would two separate affinities to create an elemental Kekkei Genkai. Personally, I like the second explanation a bit better. Overall, it's really just advanced fire style. The next step on the list is lava release on the first list and magma release on the second. Since these two are basically the same concept, we'll just go with lava release since that's the name used in the anime. Both lists say that this release is the combination of fire and earth affinities. The use of this affinity is varied, as some users use it as lava itself and others use it as rubber. The next affinity on both lists is boil release. Both lists have this affinity as the combination of fire and water. Not much else to be said about its abilities, as we only see one variation, and that was used to increase physical strength comparable to opening the gates, and the vapor release jutsu used by the Mizukage against Madara. Now, here comes the controversy and difference in the lists. Both have an affinity created by combining fire and wind, but now they're different, with the first list claiming scorch release and the second claiming poison. Personally, I'd claim the scorch release as we see it in the series. It's more consistent with these elements combining, and poison doesn't seem like a fire-esque technique. The only user of this style is Pakura, and it's used to mummify bodies, evaporating the moisture inside like an amplified flame, similar to how wind amplifies fire when coming into contact with it. Now, the final release, only on list 2, shows plasma release. Evidence to the contrary, there's actually a villain in the last arcs of Naruto, part 1, in that cluster of fillers that actually uses solar radiation in his attacks. The way he used it wasn't in a Kekkei Genkai type way, but he cleverly used his control of ice to make a magnifying glass that would send beams of concentrated solar energy at his enemies. On list 2, however, this release is the combination of fire and lightning affinities. Given we don't actually get to see a true application of this in action, save Toneri absorbing solar radiation, it's safe to say that this release isn't within the series. But it does complete the combination of elements for this release, so it's up to you whether you want to accept it or not. It's not set in stone that this is a part of the fire affinities, so it's just here for your entertainment. To explain the second list further so you understand how it'll be used later, I'll explain a few things that the creator of the list wanted to convey. First thing is, these are just the fire Kekkei Genkai affinities, so this is only a small portion of that list. Second off, these are the fire combinations if fire is used as the dominant affinity. That means you're combining the second element to the fire affinity to create these specific releases. This will make more sense after seeing the list for the other elements. The list also had what each of these affinities were strong and weak against. This will be minor foreshadowing for the next few lists, so pay attention. Blaze release is strong against sound and weak against liquid. Lava release is strong against shadow and weak against acid. Boil release is strong against flight and weak against diamond or crystal. Scorch release is weak against mist and strong against light. And lastly, plasma release is weak against ice and strong against phasing. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below and both lists and where you agree and disagree. I personally like the second list and its explanations more, but agree to take Scorch over Poison for a fire affinity. What are your thoughts on what these Kekkei Genkai could be? And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content. And remember to stay lazy.